James claims Trump lied.
Courthouse. Great reporting. Thank you so much.
That's right. And as we just heard from Mike, and as we've been discussing, of course, the former president is facing charges in that New York fraud case. Here's what those charges are. Fraud, falsification of business records, issuing false financial statements, and conspiracy.
So let's bring in our legal experts for today to help us break this all down. Criminal defense attorney Dwane Cates, a distinguished professor from Touro University, Thane Rosenbaum. Dwane, I'm going to start with you. You're a defense attorney. Are you buying here what the AG is selling on this case? What do you think?
I don't think so. I think if it wasn't Donald Trump, there wouldn't be a case. You know, if it wasn't politically motivated, they would never have brought it. And besides that, you know, business valuations are subjective. I mean, it's what somebody thinks it's worth. I mean, you can get 3 different appraisals and have 3 different values on a property. You can also get tax assessments that are nowhere near what the property's worth. So the basis of the claim, now I know she won in summary judgment. Now they're going to be talking about damages. But you know what? What are the damages? Who lost money? Did he default on any of his loans to the banks and they lost money based on his representations? I don't think so. I think that Donald Trump is correct, and this is a witch hunt.
A very good point there. President Trump earlier when he was speaking today, and he said this before, said that he paid back every loan, that there was no money that wasn't properly paid back. But Thane, is there, I mean, if they're looking for damages, can you say it's because maybe he didn't pay enough taxes? I mean, I'm trying to find what the real problem is. Who is the victim here, perhaps besides the former president?
But Katrina, you know, they're not bringing a tax case, right? They're not even alleging tax fraud. This is the New York Attorney General, whose job it is normally to look out for consumer welfare, representing the consumer welfare of the citizens of New York. How, in what way is she protecting them in this case? The banks got paid back their money. Trump did not default on the loans. Everyone made money. No matter what Trump evaluated them as, they had their own lawyers and accountants do their own assessments. In situations like this in fraud, you have to show fraudulent intent, that he believed that the valuations were incorrect. This reminds me of the Washington, D.C. case, where they're going to have to prove that he didn't think he won the election. You know, look, real estate is very personal. You put a new roof or a new garage or a new extension, you go tell someone that it's not worth what they said it's worth. So I just think this is a very appealable case. Look, it's clear that the judge has already ruled. It's now only based on damages. But as I felt with all the criminal cases, they're all much stronger on appeal, even if he loses. The question is, will Donald Trump have enough money to pay for an appeal?
Dwane, in theory, and you kind of expanded on this here, do it some more for me, because real estate is subjective.
Sure.
Couldn't you crack open the books of any of these private equity companies, these real estate companies, and then twist and bend the law to the way you see fit in order to bring a case? Couldn't that, in theory, be done time and time again?
Absolutely, and that's exactly the point of this case, is if they can do it to him, they can do it to anybody. And I think the government can now threaten people with, like you said, private equity companies with, hey, listen, toe the line, donate to my campaign, or we're coming after you. You know, because the bottom line is, in these kind of cases where there's subjective values, you can go after anybody you want, anytime you want. And the government's not supposed to do that. There's supposed to be protections in place so that the government doesn't pick on people, especially during political campaigns. You know, this is a witch hunt. It really is.
Thane, I want to move on to this. Today, the Supreme Court declined to consider a long-shot bid to disqualify former President Trump from running for president. So, of course, that's a win for former President Trump. Tell us your thoughts about this.
Well, Katrina, this was a weak case. There are other trials in Michigan, Minnesota, and Colorado where there are similar efforts to disqualify Donald Trump from running for president based on some presumption that he violated the article, the 14th Amendment, Section 3, that says that if you attempted to make an insurrection against the United States government, you cannot run for public office. Remember, that was written in the immediate aftermath of the Civil War, and its purpose was to keep Confederate generals or politicians from running for office. It hasn't been used in 150 years. So I just can't believe that even if those other cases make it to the Supreme Court. This was particularly weak, and the Supreme Court would clearly have disqualified and not heard this case. This was a person running for president who no one's ever heard of, and he really didn't have any procedural standing. But some of these cases Michigan, Minnesota, and Colorado may disqualify the president. The case may go back to the Supreme Court, and then we'll get a better reading from the court. But I would be shocked if a conservative Supreme Court, as it's aligned now, ruled in favor of treating Donald Trump, even though none of the cases have brought an insurrection charge against him, not one. But these cases, somehow these states have decided that he committed insurrection.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Thane Rosenbaum, Dwane Cates, great insights as always. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And switching gears, Newsmax host Rob Astorino is here with some of the latest polling. Rob.
All right, it's time now for your